Ms. Spilling, you received a credit for the airline ticket to Paris, correct?
I don't know.
Yeah, Ms. Spelling, it says that you have a credit of $942.85 and that it's good until December 2022.
I'm not going to go travel.
Well, you've gotten a credit is what I'm saying, and now you're asking the court to also, on top of that credit.
Well, that is
reimburse you.
if I have enough money to travel to use that credit. So I don't know if I will be able to use it before December 22nd.
I've got a question, Ms. Listek. Did you consult with the plaintiff here before she booked the tour for Versailles, for example? Did y'all have a conversation about that?
Yes. I also check if you want that she can have refund policies.
Right.
Refund
No,
on
I
that.
see that. Did you want to do that as well, or did
Yeah,
she
we
just
want
book
to
that?
do some.
You did. Okay. Are we good?
I'm good. And now I'm going to excuse the parties, and we are going to deliberate on the matter. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
This courtroom is now in recess.
All right, guys, so what are we thinking? Because I think that the plaintiff in this situation clearly was handicapped, right? She has arthritis, she needs assistance, she couldn't come to court without one. The defendant left her in Hawaii, and for her to think that it was reasonable for her to then pick up her phone after they've had this fight and call Caretaker for some reason is just unreasonable for her to think. I do believe, though, that the plaintiff should have mitigated the amount of harm done to her. For example, she had an opportunity to get a refund for this Versailles tour. She didn't do that. She also got a credit to Paris for 18 months. And she also booked a hotel in Paris that went out of business, and they were issuing refunds. So you don't get reimbursed for those things. I do, however, think in whatever capacity the defendant went to Hawaii with her, who knows? However, she knew that she needed assistance. She called Dennis. I think she told Dennis to come to Hawaii. And that's what happened. I think that the plaintiff should be reimbursed for that flight.
To me, this really turns on the nature of the relationship between the two when they took this trip to Hawaii. I believe if this woman had been a fully paid, hired caretaker, she would absolutely be responsible for reimbursing the plaintiff for her trip. Because I do believe that as a caretaker, you're supposed to expect, to deal with a little bit of pushback sometimes. And I think Dennis explained it really well.
Yeah.
But to me, this was a trip between friends. The plaintiff covered some of the defendant's expenses, but basically the defendant was out of pocket to go with the plaintiff to Hawaii. Because if you're actually hiring a caretaker to come on your vacation, you expect that they would be paid. And because of that, I don't believe that she had a responsibility to the plaintiff. I would err on the side of basically giving the plaintiff nothing.
I think that's a very reasonable interpretation, but she was a caretaker and a friend. And I do think, as Dennis explained, giving her $500 was part of her salary or payment for being a caretaker. And let's say we don't agree that she falls into the category caretaker, but she's a friend who knew that her presence was crucial, and not taking her back to the hotel, I think, was an irresponsible act. I don't think it was reasonable the way she conducted herself. But I do think she's liable for the ticket.
So you would just give her back the
400.
ticket for
$473,
Dennis.
right?
473.
So, Judge
You know
Juarez.
what? You know what? I think as a compromise, I think I'm persuaded by the two of you who believe that just that.
Okay,
So we're in agreement?
we're in agreement.
I think so.
All right,
Very
we have a
good.
verdict. All right, Ms. Spilling, Ms. Listek, we have reached a verdict. Starting with you, Ms. Spilling, you had a duty to take reasonable steps, at least to mitigate some of the harm that you suffered. For example, you could have canceled the tour to Versailles. You could have made a request for a refund for that hotel that went out of business in Paris. However, to you, Ms. Listek, you as a caretaker understand that she needed some help in Hawaii. And so I do believe that you are responsible for her having to pay for a round-trip ticket to bring Dennis to Hawaii for, to help her out. So for that, we are in agreement that you do owe the plaintiff $473 for that Hawaii trip. We do not, however, feel, Ms. Spilling, that you are owed anything for the Paris ticket because you got a credit for 18 months, and so you were reimbursed for that, essentially. And that is the court's verdict. Good luck to the both of you. Court's adjourned.